What happens when a haunted bionic eye lets you see more than you ever wanted? Or when a carefree bike ride turns into a first-hand look at what it feels like to become a zombie? And what about that infamous Indonesian cult segment? Was it just the scariest short film in found footage history, or a full-blown demonic prophecy brought to life? And of course, who can forget the Slumber Party Alien Abduction, where one loyal dog ended up being the most heartbreaking hero of all? VHS 2 doesn't just give us cheap thrills. It serves up some of the most disturbing, creative, and unforgettable found footage horror ever put to screen. From ghosts and zombies to cults and aliens, each story pulls you deeper into the cursed world of these tapes, leaving you with more questions than answers. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today we're breaking down VHS 2 2013 in full detail, segment by segment, scare by scare, and of course, that chilling ending. If you've ever wondered what ties these horrifying stories together, or why this anthology is considered the crown jewel of the franchise, then stick around, because this video has it all.
I'm not staying here, okay? I'm gonna go check the rest of this apartment.
The setup, the frame narrative. Like the first VHS, the sequel uses a connecting storyline to frame the anthology. And this time we follow private investigators Larry and Aisha. They're hired by the mother of a missing college student named Kyle to figure out what happened to him. When they break into his house, it's immediately unsettling. Stacks of VHS tapes, buzzing TVs playing static, and photos that tie back to the old man from the first movie. Larry tells Aisha to check out the tapes while he looks around, and that's where things start spiraling. Aisha discovers Kyle's laptop is still recording, meaning whatever happened to him might already be on camera. She plays one of the tapes, unaware of the shadowy figure lurking behind her. That's the launch pad for the stories we're about to watch, each one its own nightmare, each one linked through the cursed nature of the VHS format. The brilliance here is that the frame story isn't just filler, it slowly bleeds into the horror, with Aisha and Larry being manipulated by the tapes themselves. The idea is simple. The more you watch, the more you lose yourself. And by the end, neither of them is in control. Segment 1, Phase 1 Clinical Trials. The first story throws us right into tech horror with a classic body modification twist. We meet Herman, a man who gets an experimental bionic eye implant after a car accident. The catch? The eye starts recording everything he sees, which means we get a direct POV style of the entire segment. At first, Herman notices glitches, distortions, and shadows, but soon he starts seeing full-blown ghosts haunting his apartment. A woman named Clarissa, who has her own implant in her ear, warns him that these upgrades allow people to perceive the dead. The more attention you give the spirits, the more aggressive they become. Things escalate fast. Herman is attacked by violent apparitions. Clarissa is killed, and her ghost joins the others haunting him. Terrified, Herman tries to rip out the implant, but the ghosts close in on him. The footage ends with his death, showing that the technology meant to improve his life only cursed him further. The theme here is clear. Human attempts to improve perception can also strip away the veil that protects us from seeing horrors we're not meant to see. It's a modern ghost story wrapped in cyber horror, and it sets the tone for the relentless dread of the rest of the film. Segment 2, A Ride in the Park. If the first segment is ghostly paranoia, the second is chaotic zombie carnage, but with a tragic twist. We meet Mike, a biker who mounts a GoPro on his helmet and sets out for a ride. On the trail, he encounters a bloodied woman begging for help, only for her to suddenly vomit blood and transform into a zombie. She bites Mike, and in one of the film's most clever ideas, we watch his transformation from his own POV. Mike dies, reanimates, and joins the growing horde. Together, they stumble into a child's birthday party, massacring guests as the infection spreads. What makes this so chilling is that Mike's camera doesn't stop rolling. We see firsthand what it's like to become part of the undead swarm. The segment peaks with Mike rediscovering a shred of humanity. After being shot, hit by a car, and hearing his girlfriend's Amy's voice on a butt dial, he regains enough control to realize the monster he's become. In one heartbreaking moment, he uses a shotgun to end his own life, ensuring he won't hurt anyone else. This story works not only as a fast-paced gore fest, but also as one of the rare zombie tales to show remorse and empathy from the infected perspective. It's brutal, it's tragic, and it's easily one of the anthology's most memorable chapters. Segment 3, Safe Haven. Now we hit the crown jewel of VHS 2. Directed by Gareth Evans and Timo Chayanto, The Night Comes for Us. Safe Haven is a descent into cult horror so intense, it almost feels like a feature film. We follow a documentary crew, Malik, his fiancée Lena, best friend Adam, and cameraman Joni, as they infiltrate an Indonesian cult called Paradise Gates. At first, things seem eerie, but manageable. School children chanting, walls painted with occult symbols, and a charismatic leader known as Only Father. But things unravel when the crew digs deeper. Adam discovers a mutilated woman hidden in the basement. Lena reveals she's pregnant with Adam's child, not Malik's, and Father begins preparing his followers for the reckoning.
What follows is pure chaos. Cultists drinking poison, shooting themselves, and committing mass suicide while the crew is trapped in the compound. Malik is executed, Lena is abducted, and Adam tries to fight his way through the carnage. Father slits his throat during an interview, then returns moments later transformed, declaring the prophecy fulfilled before exploding into gore. And then the true horror emerges. Lena gives birth to a demonic child that rips its way out of her body, killing her in the process. Adam flees, only to discover the demon isn't hunting him, it's calling him Papa. The implication is devastating. His unborn child has become the cult's prophesied monster. The story ends with Adam laughing hysterically, broken by the realization that he's the father of a literal demon. Safe Haven is an absolute masterclass in pacing, dread, and payoff. It blends religious fanaticism, body horror, and demonic apocalypse into one 30-minute nightmare that many fans consider the best segment of the entire franchise. Segment 4, Slumber Party Alien Abduction. After the cult chaos, we get something completely different. Aliens, but not the sleek, intelligent sci-fi kind. These are shrieking, terrifying invaders who feel more like a force of nature. The story is told through the perspective of Tank, a family dog with a camera strapped to his back. Gary and Randy, two mischievous brothers, invite their friends over while their parents are away, tormenting their older sister Jen and her boyfriend Zach. But the pranks end abruptly when the group hears strange noises outside. Suddenly, the house is under attack. Bright lights, distorted sounds, and grotesque gray aliens burst in, abducting Zach and assaulting the house. The kids try to flee, but the aliens are relentless, sealing them in sleeping bags, drowning them in the lake, and dragging them screaming into their ship. In the chaos, Gary and Jen try to survive with Tank's help, but one by one, the group is taken. Jen is pulled away while trying to save Gary, and finally, Gary himself is sucked into the sky, leaving Tank behind. The camera lingers as the loyal dog, injured and dying, breathes his last breaths on the ground. This segment is devastating. While it's fast and chaotic, the final moments with Tank are gut-wrenching, reminding us that even in found footage horror, the smallest, most innocent character can steal the entire show. Fans still argue that Tank is the true tragic hero of VHS 2. The ending, Kaio and the Cursed Tapes. As each tape plays, the frame narrative grows darker. Aisha becomes hypnotized by the static, eventually suffering a nosebleed and later dying by suicide. Larry, horrified, discovers a tape labeled Watch in lipstick and plays it, sealing his fate. While meanwhile, Kyle's recordings reveal his disturbing obsession. He wanted to create his own tape, one that could affect you if watched in the right order. In a chilling moment, Kyle films himself attempting suicide, shattering his jaw but surviving. When Larry tries to escape, Aisha reanimates and attacks him in an inhuman, crawling state. Larry kills her, but then is ambushed by Kyle himself, who had been hiding all along. Kyle strangles Larry to death, smiling and giving a thumbs up to the camera before shutting it off. The implication? The tapes don't just show horror, they perpetuate it. Each viewing spreads the curse, pulling new victims into the cycle. Kyle has become part of that endless loop, ensuring the legacy of the tapes continues. Themes and takeaways. VHS 2 isn't just shock value, it's an anthology about the dangers of seeing too much, of curiosity pushing people into places they shouldn't go. Phase 1 Clinical Trials warns about unchecked technology and the price of perceiving hidden realities. A Ride in the Park humanizes zombies, showing the tragedy of losing control while retaining fragments of humanity. Safe Haven dives into fanaticism and the horrors birthed by blind devotion, culminating in literal demonic rebirth. And Slumber Party Alien Abduction reminds us that not all monsters are supernatural. Sometimes the terror comes from forces we can't fight or understand. And the frame story cements the VHS tapes as cursed objects that demand to be watched, feeding on the very act of viewing. Our nerdy thoughts? VHS 2 is often considered the best entry in the franchise because it balances variety, intensity, and creativity. Each segment feels distinct yet connected, and the anthology doesn't waste a second. From tech ghosts to zombie POV, from cults birthing demons to alien abduction caught on a dog cam, the film pushes the limits of what found footage horror can do. And at the heart of it all is a message about obsession, our need to watch, to record, to document everything, even when it destroys us. The tapes are cursed because they represent that compulsion, and once you hit play, you can't escape. With its relentless pacing and unforgettable imagery, VHS 2 stands as a brutal, brilliant exploration of horror in all its forms. And if you thought the tapes couldn't get any worse, just remember there are still more entries waiting to be played.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.